Hi, I'm Thorn Bishop and welcome to Top Secret Inc. Today we're walking through issue number 5 of Harley Quinn Volume 1 Preludes and Knock Knock Jokes by DC Comics. Now, just take a seat and enjoy the ride. Okay, so now we're jumping into issue number 5. And we kick this off with Lewis lurking in the back alley of Gotham with a flashlight. Because even criminals need to work the night shift. From out of nowhere, he gets tackled by, you guessed it, Harley. She picks him off the ground and gives him a massive bear hug because nothing sets professional reunions like surprise tackles in dark alleys. She's so happy to see him again. And we find out Lewis is no longer working for the Joker. Harley mentions she's going big now and decides, I'm going to work for myself. For a while, they reminisce about their encounter where she knocked him out cold, and Lewis is actually grateful because a bullet would have been a hell of a lot worse than losing a few brain cells. I mean, that's a fair point there. Harley mentions she's looking for goons to roll with her, and Lewis says he's in, and the others will come as soon as, the word spreads that she's recruiting. He also mentions that a guy named Lenny Katarski bailed his ass out of jail, which is always a great start to any job interview. They enter a warehouse where there's some dude just waiting there for them. Harley looks at him and basically says, "Who the hell are you?" And the guy introduces himself as Lester Wilde. And Harley claps back with what I can assume is some kind of insult about his appearance. But here's the kicker. He tells them to stay calm because he thinks he looks like a spitting image of the Joker. Lewis and Harley look at each other, and in complete shock, they break into tears laughing in front of this guy. And honestly, I can't blame them. All kidding aside, Lester's looking for a job as one of Harley's henchmen. They find out he's never done anything illegal, which in the Gotham criminal underworld is like showing up to NASCAR race on a bicycle. Harley's like, sure, you're in. But Lewis pulls her aside afterward, and he's concerned because Lester's not right in the head. He thinks he's like Mr. J. And they need guys with specialized training. Harley tells Lewis, well, he better learn fast because anything can happen to him, and really that's just not my problem. And here's where we find out that there's some serious HR policies that Harley's trying to roll in here. There's a knock on the door and another guy comes walking in. His name is Jix, and he and Lewis go way back. Lewis looks somewhat shocked at Jix's appearance because the guy looks like he's completely strung out. Harley walks Jix out of the warehouse and tells him to get clean because she's screening all candidates, and when he's ready, she'll find him. Lewis thanks Harley for getting Jix out of there because apparently he's a hardcore drug addict and just getting worse. Harley's like, yeah, no problem. I prefer the mentally unstable ones, not the chemically unstable ones. Because apparently there are some standards to henchman business in this world. They start screening a bunch of other random henchmen, each with their own issues. Hell, I wouldn't hire any of them either. Then Buster shows up thinking that Lewis is in charge. But that doesn't last very long. Harley asks if he's still pissed at her because she pummeled him the last time they met. Lewis has to convince Buster to stay because he'd rather work for the Joker, but we all know how Harley will always go crawling back to Mr. J eventually. Harley's so happy Buster decided to join, so she jumps on his back for a big, massive bear hug. This gives Lester his opportunity to introduce himself and mention that Buster shouldn't be shocked at how much he resembles the Joker. Buster shakes his hand and tells Lester how much he hates his face and offers to fix it with his fist. This is a fine example of team bonding that I've ever seen. The two Bear brothers show up. Remember Nix, one of Two-Face's goons? Well, they're also looking for work too. And Harley's like, yeah, that'll do. But the wardrobe just won't. She disappears for a while and returns with matching henchman outfits for all of them. Funny enough, they all actually look like nice outfits. Casual, comfortable, kind of stylish, not too cheesy looking. Lester pulls Harley aside and tells her he hopes she doesn't feel really uncomfortable with him resembling the Joker so much. He's not trying to replace him or anything. Inside her mind, we can see her daydreaming of Lester with cement boots being tied up with rope and then just being, gently tossed into the Gotham River. That's actually pretty concerning, but also totally on brand for Harley, so there's really nothing wrong here when you think about it. Harley walks onto the balcony and tells Lester to find a delivery truck. because they're gonna do a jailbreak soon. And this is exactly what Buster wanted to hear. Then we see Harley jump off the balcony into the night because elevators are just for amateurs. Lester starts having what are possibly the most evil thoughts of his entire life. What would Harley want with the Joker look-alike when the real Joker will be back soon from this jailbreak? So, Lester decides, oh well, I guess I'm gonna have to kill the Joker, because that's a totally reasonable career advancement strategy we have here. Lewis grabs a produce truck, and the crew loads in. They drive for a while and stops behind a large building. Not a very tall, but a pretty wide and long building. This doesn't look like a prison at all. After some effort, they make their way in, and it smells like a mix of, well, let's just say it's not pleasant. At this point, Lester breaks away from the rest of the crew while eventually looking for jail cells that just don't exist here. Lester finds a bathroom and starts applying makeup to look like the Joker. He's thinking, my transformation is so amazing, they'll never be able to tell the two of us apart. Spoiler alert, they absolutely will be able to tell. He leaves the washroom looking for the rest of the crew with a gun pulled out. He opens the door and finds a room that's full of penguins. Because that's not strange, really. Really, is it? Harley and the goons make their way through a building to discover they're actually at the Gotham Zoo. And Harley found her pet hyenas. So happy to see him, she whips over a revolver filled with grenade cartridges and blasts the cage open. The alarms go off and security comes running. Lester's panicking, thinking Harley must have gotten injured in the blast, so he's running down a hallway trying to follow where the explosion came from while the guards start shooting at Harley and her crew. They make a break for it and beeline it back to the truck, taking off right into the night. Lester makes it outside to where the hyena cages are, but the guards return and shoot him in the back 3 times. In Lester's mind, he's telling himself that this is like a sacrifice of what Joker would have done, what anyone have done for that woman's love. I guess the joke's on Lester right now. Poor delusional bastard thought he was like the main character in someone else's story and paid the ultimate price for it.